On every major world in the galaxy, there was one rule that no ambassador questioned. Every alien embassy had to keep one room completely empty. No furniture, no decorations, no computers, no guards, just a clean room with a single closed door. The strange tradition was older than the Galactic Council itself. No official record explained why it existed. No one remembered who had created the rule. For thousands of years, ambassadors simply obeyed it. Many believed it was only an old custom that no one bothered to remove. Then humanity joined the Galactic Council. Earth had become a respected member after years of peaceful exploration and scientific cooperation. Human diplomats opened embassies across many worlds. During a routine visit to the embassy of the Nerethi Union, human ambassador Evelyn Ross noticed something unusual. At the end of a quiet hallway stood a plain white door. There was no sign, no lock, no security system. When Evelyn asked about it, the Nerethi ambassador suddenly looked uncomfortable. "That room," he said softly, "it is reserved." "For whom?" Evelyn asked. The ambassador hesitated. "For humans." Evelyn laughed politely. "But this embassy is older than human spaceflight." "I know." His answer made the room feel colder. Curious, Evelyn contacted other human embassies across the galaxy. Every report was exactly the same. Every alien embassy had one identical empty room. Every room was officially listed as reserved for human guests. Every record carrying that title had been created thousands of years before humans built their first cities. News spread quickly through the Galactic Council. Some believed it was an ancient mistake in the archives. Others suspected a forgotten prophecy. No explanation satisfied anyone. A special investigation began. Leading the mission was Council historian Varesh, an elderly alien famous for solving impossible mysteries. He searched through records older than most civilizations. Nothing. It was as if someone had carefully erased the reason while leaving the rule behind. Then deep inside the oldest council archive, Varesh discovered a sealed document. The file could not be opened. Its security system recognized only one species. Human. No one understood how that could be possible. Human civilization was far younger than the archive itself. Ambassador Evelyn Ross placed her hand on the ancient scanner. The seal opened instantly. Inside was only one short sentence. "When humanity finally arrives, do not let them enter the empty room alone." The lights across the archive suddenly went out. From somewhere inside the embassy, the empty room had just opened by itself. The lights returned after only a few seconds. But something had changed. Every security system inside the Nerethi embassy reported that the empty room was no longer empty. No cameras showed anyone entering. No doors or windows had opened. Yet one life sign appeared inside the room. It did not match any known species. Council historian Varesh, Ambassador Evelyn Ross, and the Nerethi ambassador hurried through the long hallway. Guards followed them but stopped several steps from the white door. None of them wanted to be the first to enter. The door stood slightly open. Warm light flowed from inside, even though the room had never contained a single lamp. Evelyn slowly pushed the door wider. The room looked almost the same as before. White walls, smooth floor, nothing on the ceiling, nothing on the walls. Only one new object stood in the center, a wooden chair. It looked simple, almost ordinary, yet no one could explain why it was there. Beside the chair rested an old paper notebook. Real paper, something almost forgotten in the age of advanced technology. Evelyn carefully opened the notebook. The first page contained neat handwriting in perfect English. "Please sit before reading further." Varesh frowned. "How can a document older than my civilization be written in English?" No one answered. Evelyn slowly sat on the chair. The moment she did, the room disappeared. Not physically, only around her. She now stood inside a peaceful city beneath a bright blue sky. People walked through parks. Children laughed near a river. Humans and many alien species lived together without fear. Everything felt real. A calm voice spoke beside her. "This is not the future. It is a memory." An elderly woman appeared. She wore simple clothes and carried no advanced technology. "What place is this?" Evelyn asked. "The first embassy." Evelyn looked around in confusion. "There was never a first embassy." The woman smiled gently. "That is because history forgot it." She explained that long before the Galactic Council was created, hundreds of young civilizations almost destroyed one another through fear and misunderstanding. Then a small group of human diplomats appeared among them. They carried no powerful weapons. They offered no advanced machines. Instead, they listened. They settled arguments. They convinced enemies to speak instead of fight. The first lasting peace in the galaxy had begun with conversation, not victory. But where did those humans come from? Evelyn whispered. They should not have existed. The old woman's smile slowly faded. They didn't. Before Evelyn could ask another question, the peaceful city vanished. She was back inside the White Room. The notebook had changed. A new sentence slowly appeared across the page. The first human ambassadors came from a time that has not happened yet. Outside the room, every embassy across the galaxy reported the same impossible event. Their empty rooms had begun unlocking, one after another. Within 1 hour, every alien embassy in the galaxy sent the same report. The empty rooms were changing. Some now contained a wooden chair. Others held an old lantern, a cup of tea, or a single green plant. The objects were different, but they all shared one strange fact. None could be scanned. To every machine, the rooms were still completely empty. Only living eyes could see what was inside. The Galactic Council declared a Level 1 mystery and ordered every embassy to remain open. No one was allowed to remove anything from the rooms. Meanwhile, Ambassador Evelyn Ross and historian Varesh continued studying the notebook. Every few minutes, another page filled with new writing. The words did not appear all at once. They formed slowly, as if someone were writing them at that very moment. The next message read, "Find the embassy that has no planet." Varesh searched every known record. There were embassies on worlds, moons, stations, and even giant space habitats. But one old document mentioned something unusual. More than 5,000 years ago, the Council had approved funding for an embassy that was never built. Its address was simply written as, "Between Journeys." No one understood what those words meant. Evelyn looked at an old star chart hanging on the archive wall. Something caught her eye. Tiny symbols marked every embassy in the galaxy. When she connected them with lines, they formed a perfect circle. The center of that circle contained no star, only empty space. A research ship was quickly sent to investigate. After 3 days of travel, the crew reached the exact location. Their sensors found nothing. No planet, no station, no asteroid. The captain was about to leave when every navigation screen suddenly displayed a new destination. "Welcome, delegates." A doorway of soft silver light appeared in front of the ship. It had no engines, no structure. It simply floated in the darkness. Against every rule, the captain guided the ship through it. On the other side was something impossible. A city drifted peacefully between the stars. It had no sun, yet it was filled with warm daylight. Hundreds of beautiful buildings stood beside quiet gardens and flowing streams. Above the largest building were words written in every known language. The Embassy of First Contact. The city was completely empty, or so it seemed. As Evelyn watched through the live transmission, a distant figure appeared at the end of a long stone bridge. It was human. The figure raised one hand in greeting, then spoke words that froze everyone listening. "Welcome. We have been waiting for history to catch up with us." The live transmission continued across the galaxy. Every ambassador watched the lone human standing on the stone bridge. He looked ordinary. Gray hair, simple blue clothes. No weapon, no badge. He smiled as if he had been expecting the visitors for a very long time. The research ship landed beside the bridge. Ambassador Evelyn Ross, historian Varesh, and a small team stepped outside. The air felt fresh. Birds sang in the nearby trees. It was hard to believe they were floating in deep space. The human greeted them with a polite bow. "My name is Elias." Varesh spoke first. "Who are you?" Elias looked at the peaceful city before answering. "We are the bridge keepers." He led them through quiet streets filled with empty homes. Every house looked ready for someone to return. Dinner tables were set. Books rested on open shelves. Flowers bloomed in every garden. Yet there was no one living there. "Where is everyone?" Evelyn asked. "They are working," Elias replied. "Working where?" "In history." The answer made no sense. Inside the largest building, the visitors found hundreds of clocks hanging on the walls. None showed the same time. Some moved forward, some backward, some did not move at all. Elias noticed their confusion. These clocks do not measure hours. They measure moments. He explained that long ago, a small group of human volunteers accepted a strange mission. Whenever two civilizations were close to starting a terrible war, the bridge keepers quietly appeared. Not as rulers, not as heroes, only as diplomats. Sometimes they delayed a meeting by a few minutes. Sometimes they helped two leaders sit at the same table. Sometimes they saved a single child who later changed history. After finishing their task, they could never return to their own time. Every mission moved them farther away from the lives they once knew. That was why the city looked empty. Its people were almost never home. Evelyn looked around in silence. They gave up everything, so strangers could have a future. Elias nodded. No one remembers our names. That is how peace survives. Just then, every clock in the building stopped at the same moment. For the first time, worry appeared on Elias's face. This has never happened before. A loud bell echoed through the city. One empty house suddenly disappeared. Then another. And another. The city itself was beginning to fade. A glowing message appeared above the central hall. History has been changed. A bridge keeper has failed to return. Elias whispered something no one expected. If one mission was lost, then someone is trying to erase humanity from the past. The peaceful city grew quieter with every passing minute. Another house disappeared. Then another bridge faded into thin air. It was as if someone was slowly erasing the city with an invisible hand. Elias closed his eyes. He touched one of the frozen clocks. I know which mission is missing. Ambassador Evelyn Ross looked at him. What happened? Elias took a slow breath. There was one journey that every bridge keeper feared. He pointed toward the oldest clock in the room. Unlike the others, it had no numbers. Only one date. Mission 0. Varesh searched the city's records. There was almost nothing inside. No names, no reports, only one sentence. Without Mission 0, the bridge keepers are never created. The room became silent. Evelyn frowned. So this is the first mission? Elias shook his head. It is the mission before the first. He explained that thousands of years before the Galactic Council existed, a lonely human exploration ship had become lost beyond every known star. Its crew discovered an ancient alien civilization that was collapsing after centuries of civil war. The humans had almost no advanced technology. They could not stop the fighting with force. Instead, they stayed. They shared food. They repaired water systems. They helped families from both sides live together. After many years, peace slowly returned. The grateful survivors later became the founders of the first alliance between species. That alliance eventually grew into the Galactic Council. Mission 0 had never been famous. Almost no history book mentioned it. Yet every peaceful relationship in the galaxy began because of those forgotten explorers. Suddenly, the oldest clock cracked. A bright flash filled the hall. The city showed a vision. A dark ship was hiding near the ancient star where Mission 0 had taken place. It was not attacking. It was collecting history itself. Every memory it captured disappeared from the universe. No one remembered those events anymore. Elias looked at the vision with deep sadness. They are not destroying worlds. They are stealing the reasons those worlds trusted each other. Without those memories, old fear would return. Old enemies would become strangers again. The Galactic Council could fall apart without firing a single shot. Then the vision zoomed in on the dark ship. A symbol appeared on its side. Evelyn recognized it immediately. It was not an alien symbol. It was human. Someone from humanity's own distant future was trying to erase the very history that had made humanity worthy of trust. The room fell silent. And for the first time, Elias looked afraid. If we cannot save Mission 0, there may never be a future where humans choose peace. The silence inside the embassy of First Contact felt heavier than any battle. No one spoke. If Mission 0 disappeared, the galaxy would not explode. It would simply become a place where no one trusted anyone. Evelyn Ross looked at Elias. Can we stop the ship? Elias slowly shook his head. If we fight it, history changes even more. Then what do we do? Elias smiled for the first time since the city began fading. We do what humanity has always done. We talk. I know why you called, Adrian said quietly. You think I'm destroying history. Aren't you? Evelyn asked. Adrian lowered his eyes. In my future, the galaxy is at peace. But that peace has become something else. No one takes risks. No one explores. No one dreams. Every decision follows old traditions. I believed removing Mission Zero would force civilizations to build a stronger future on their own. Elias listened without anger. Then he asked one simple question. Who taught you to believe peace matters? Adrian did not answer. Elias continued. Someone helped you when you were young. Someone believed in you before you believed in yourself. Adrian's face slowly changed. He remembered. A teacher. An old diplomat. A story about forgotten human explorers who chose kindness instead of victory. Those stories had inspired his entire life. If Mission Zero disappeared, that teacher would never have told those stories. His own dream would never have existed. Tears filled Adrian's eyes. I was trying to erase the path that created me. He shut down the machine collecting history. Across the embassy, the fading houses returned. The vanished bridges appeared again. Every frozen clock began moving, one by one. Elias smiled. The future has remembered. At that same moment, every empty room in every alien embassy changed forever. The white walls disappeared. Inside each room appeared a round table with enough chairs for every visiting species. Above every table, one sentence was written in every known language. Leave one place where strangers can become friends. The old rule had never been about reserving a room for humans. It was about reserving space for the human idea that peace begins with a conversation. From that day forward, every new embassy built in the galaxy included an empty room. Not because of tradition, but because everyone finally understood its purpose. And that simple room became humanity's greatest gift to the stars.